This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Yes indeed, the solo from the Beatles back in the USSR. I've had a few requests to do a Beatles solo, and when I checked it turns out I don't think I've ever done one on the regular run of things on the channel, so yeah, seemed like a good one to do. That's what it sounds like. Here's what's going on in the solo.
Solo explanation.
Okay, as always, let's begin by looking at the chord sequence. Here it is. You can see it's A to D to C to D, twice through that line. And then the second line isn't strictly speaking part of the solo, but it's because the vocals have come back in by this point, but there's still a couple of licks going on there, so I thought I'd include it anyway. So quite a blues rock chord sequence really, and not surprisingly George uses a blues rock scale, the A minor pentatonic, basically the top end of position 3. So these notes up here are where the solo begins with this lick. And that unison bend there is very reminiscent of like a Chuck Berry type thing, just with slightly different timing. And that's not the last example of taking a rock and roll idea and just moving the timing slightly that we're going to come across in this solo. So anyway, after we get this bit, so just sliding down from this D note here, then D slides up to E, and then we resolve onto the A note there. Now this next lick here is the one that is another rock and roll stalwart, but the timing of it anyway. It's based on a rhythm that I did an entire video on back in January, I think. It's called the clave rhythm, or sometimes known as the Bo Diddley beat, which basically goes like this. So let's have a look and see what's going on with that, and then we can compare it to what George is doing. You're basically hitting or accenting or emphasizing beat 1 of the bar, the and of beat 2, beat 4 of the bar, and then beats 2 and 3 in the next bar. So I'll just count that through. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and speed that up and you get your Bo Diddley beat. Okay, so let's just do that on a single note now. We'll use this D note here. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Then that penultimate note, that the one that lands on beat 2 of the second bar, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to advance that by half a beat, so it's going to land on the and of beat 1. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that. So then if we start putting bends into that, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you're starting to get the idea of what that lick's all about. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So, you know, basically, I'm not saying what George did there was to think, I know what I'll do. I'll take the Sun Clave beat, the Bo Diddley rhythm, and advance the penultimate note by half a beat. Of course he didn't. But, you know, you can't be a child of that rock and roll generation and not be, you know, like really familiar with that Bo Diddley rhythm, and that's kind of informs what he played there. You know, obviously because it just comes out as a really natural thing. Anyway, after that, we come back to this note here, this C note, and then a little bit of a bend, 15 up to 17, basically the D note up to the E note, and then resolve back onto that A note there. And then as the vocals come back in, he plays this little blues lick down here. It's quite sort of masked by the vocals, that part there, but that is what I genuinely believe he is playing, and it fits anyway. And you can see how that's coming out, that A minor pentatonic pattern. Then we're on to that sort of second line of the chord sequence. Let's have a look at it again. Here it is there, where it goes A to C to D. And what he's doing here is he's just basically following the chords with a little blues lick, really. So over the A chord and finishing on that trill there. Then as the chord moves up to C, the same lick but moved up to a C position, and then as the chord moves up to D, he plays the same lick over the D chord. So a very effective solo, you know, taking a couple of stalwart rock and roll influences, the unison bend. You know, if it were a Chuck Berry thing, it would be more just elongating the first note, the actual bend part of it, and then taking that clave Bo Diddley beat and adapting it into a lick that is, you know, full of string bends. Etc. So that's what's going on with this lovely little solo from back in the USSR. Take what you've learned here and go away and have some fun with it. And as usual, there is a full tab in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing the solo, that little explanation clip that you've just seen there, and the backing track to play along with. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. It's only $3 or £2.50 a month, and you get access to all of these bits and pieces that go along with these YouTube lessons that I do. Thank you so much to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful and informative, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give me a like while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream, Friday 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and all manner of great stuff. What a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.